Hello students, our today's topic is types of financial planning. We have already learned what is financial planning, the meaning of financial planning, the objective of financial planning, and we learned that financial planning is related with preparation of financial blueprint of the business operations of any business organization, and why it is done with two purposes: to see that always there is timely availability of funds all the time in the business organization, and also there is no excess funds raised, so that the requirement can of the fund which is needed in the business organization, that can be met out properly, and it can lead to smooth operation of the business enterprise. That is why we see that always with the help of financial planning, the uncertainty associated with timely availability of adequate funds, that is met out. Sometimes this statement is put in inverted commas and asked in exam: which concept is related with meeting the uncertainties associated with timely availability of funds in the business organization? And that is financial planning. Timely availability, that is the key word. So we are going to understand now what are the various types of financial plan. Financial plan may be of short term or long term. When we say short term financial planning, it is also called budget. Just keep this in mind. Why it is called budget? Because this type of plan, short term financial planning, that is done up to a period of maximum 1 year. So it is period up to 1 year or less, and in this plan every detailed plan of action is worked out in the organization related with the income and expenditure that is going to accrue in the organization within a span of 1 year. That is why it is called budget plan. Short term plan, financial planning is also called budget. On the other hand, there is also long term planning. Whenever the time period exceeds 1 year, it comes in the category of either medium term plan or long term plan. But generally we take it as long term plan whenever the period exceeds 1 year time. So when it is long term financial planning, we see that this plan is made keeping in mind the long term growth and expenditure of the business organization. That means the capital expenditure which is going to take place in the organization for long term period, and that period exceeds 1 year time. Generally we see that the financial plan is prepared for a period between 3 to 5 years. Exceeding period beyond 5 years, it becomes difficult to plan. That is why ideally 3 to 5 years plan is prepared, which comes in the category of long term plan. Now we are going to learn about the process of financial planning. And when we say process, that means the procedure which involves some steps through which sound financial planning can be done in any organization. In an organization, the financial planning begins with the preparation of the sales forecast. When we say preparation of sales forecast, that means sales is estimated for the period up to which the planning is done. Say for example, financial planning for 5 years. That means sales for 5 years, that has to be predicted in advance. How much sales will take place in the organization within this span of 5 years for which the financial planning is done. So first step. The second step says financial statements are prepared. After the sales forecast, that is estimated, or sales forecast is done, the second step involves preparation of financial statements. And this statement always is prepared keeping in mind the requirements which will take place in fixed assets and the requirements for working capital. So on the basis of that, the financial statement is prepared. After preparing the financial statement, the third step involves expected profits estimated during the period for which the financial planning is done, to have an idea about how much fund can be met internally after paying dividend to the shareholders through retained earnings, so that proper estimation of the requirement of external funds is done. So third step involves expected profits to be estimated during that span for say 5 years if the financial planning is done, so that internal accrual of funds as well as externally how much funds will have to be arranged, that can be estimated. Then the fourth step involves identifying external sources for meeting the fund requirement. The remaining funds which has to be arranged after a portion of fund has been retained and reinvested in business, whatever is left to be arranged, the external sources are to be sought, are to be identified, keeping in mind always that the source should be cheapest and the risk should be always under control. And after this, the cash budgets are laid down. After the sources, they have been identified and the funds have been arranged, cash budgets have to be prepared, which gives the detail about cash receipts and cash expenditure during that time period. In this way, the process of financial planning takes place and it helps the organization to meet out all the uncertainties which may take place related with the fund requirement in the organization, so that it is in a situation to meet each and every eventuality which may arise in the organization within that span and be prepared to meet it effectively. So with this we have completed the process. Now we will be learning about the importance of financial planning, and this importance of financial planning has been asked many times in exams. So it is generally you may say 5 to 6 marks question, complete question that is asked sometimes. So we will be taking the points. What is the importance of financial planning? You need to memorize these points properly after understanding it and then write it properly. First is, it ensures smooth running of the business enterprise. How does financial planning ensure smooth running of the business enterprise? Because it is through financial planning that in an organization, alternative financial plans, they are prepared to deal with different situations which may arise. We can take an example. For example, it is estimated that the growth of sales is going to increase by 20%. But the actual sale may be 10% or 30%. So if the financial plan is made for all these three situations, then there will not be any problem, and in any of the situations which may occur, we see that the operation of the business, that will be smooth. So that planning helps in the smooth operation of the business. Second point, it helps to avoid business shocks and business surprises, because through financial planning the company is prepared to meet any kind of exigencies or uncertainties. Preparation is made in advance to meet this. So business shocks and surprises, that can be avoided if proper planning is done. Third, it helps in coordinating various business functions. Coordinating various business functions. For example, production and sales. These are two different activities. It helps in proper coordination. How? By providing policies and procedures laid down in the organization, on the basis of which each and every business activity that is performed in the organization, and we see that there is proper integration in the activities towards the objective which has been laid down. Fourth, prepares detailed plan of action. We have learned, and this detailed plan of action, if it is prepared, financial plan, it reduces wastages, it helps to minimize the duplication of efforts, and also the gaps in planning, that is reduced. So when details are worked out, and we have learned that for a period of 1 year, short-term planning is made in which every detail that is worked out, so that always the wastages, they are minimized, the activities or the efforts, they are not duplicated, and there is proper connectivity in planning. Fifth, it tries to link present with the future through proper financial planning. Sixth, it provides link between investment and financing decision. After it has been estimated about the fund requirement to be invested in fixed assets and working capital requirement needs, then also the sources from where it will be generated, that is also identified. Effort is made to identify it. So in this way it tries to link investment and financing decisions. Finally, it makes evaluation of actual performance easier. Once the objectives, they are laid down in advance of different business activities and segments, we see that it helps evaluation of the performance, whether the activity is being performed according to the plans, financial plans, financial activities. Those activities are financial activities which is decided in advance, and the work has to be carried out according to that. So evaluation can be done easily. So in this way we see that financial plan is very important for any business organization, so that the business always runs its operations smoothly and there is no hindrance to its work, and it grows and prosper from time to time. So with this we have completed the financial planning part, and our next topic will be capital structure, which we will be starting in our next lecture. Till then, thank you all of you.